bar.
That extra gear, the first 3 steps.
Huge strides in the performance.
That I might not be the player I am today.
All right, welcome to another episode of Behind the Gear. And today we have the pleasure of sitting down with Timmy Horvat. We were just chatting a little bit about kind of Timmy's, first of all, thanks for coming. It's amazing to have you. And I've had a lot of requests actually about people saying, I was mentioned, hey, I may have Timmy on here. And they're like, no way, got to get him on. It'd be great to hear some good stories about Bo and back in the day. But we were just chatting from Bothwell area and growing up at the outdoor. I'm assuming you guys kind of everything revolved around hockey, obviously, right?
Yeah, everything.
And as far as you got, your family was obviously a big proponent of hockey and in that community. And you mentioned too about your father. So your father was a big hockey guy, obviously coached you guys and stuff like that, but never skated.
No, he never did. Like I said, we come from a town, like we're born and raised in Bothwell, Bothwell, Ontario. And, there was about 900 people and my dad, my uncles, and a lot of the other community from Bothwell. We've got an arena there.
Is that the same arena that's there right now?
Same arena today. Yeah. I mean, They're fighting right now to keep it open. Because the unfortunate thing is all the small towns, not a lot of players anymore. So they're kind of amalgamating. And it's too bad because there's a lot of history in that barn, and they try to keep it going. And my dad used to coach us when we were younger and he never skated. I can remember him with his hat on, standing on the bench with his pipe, and he smoked a pipe a lot. And he'd be yelling at the guys to do it from the bench, and it was pretty fun, I can remember back when I first started, just sitting in front of the TV on Saturday mornings watching cartoons and putting my equipment on, even though it was 2-3 hours before I even had to go to the arena. But
excited.
Yeah, I was just excited, right? Yeah. So, because, that's what we love to do around that town.
Totally.
Yeah, it was awesome.
No, that's great. So who's a better player? Who was a better player, you or Ron?
Oh, you know what? We got compared quite a bit back. Yeah, we did actually.
How many years difference between two?
There's 2 of us, 2 years difference. Okay. So I always got to play up sometimes with him. Ron was a totally different player. Yeah. He was more of the skilled finesse guy. I was more of the shooter. Yeah. I mean, what do they say? Sometimes the goal scorers get all the glory. Yeah. But if you can't get the puck on your stick, you're not going to score, right? So I mean, Ron, he was really good too. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. And Ron's still involved, obviously, still coaching. He's with Komoka now.
Yeah, he's with the Komoka Kings, the junior B team. Nice and close. Yeah, he loves it, He's doing well with them, I mean, it's always tougher when you move into another organization, but he seems to love it. Yeah. And like I say, it's nice and close to him for home because he lives in Delaware, right? So just out the door. And he always loves teaching. So I'm happy for him for sure. Yeah.
Well, I've talked to a couple of the boys that play for him, and they're pumped because they had a bit of rough go Komoka at the start. Just a lot of changeover with players and coaches, and a lot of the guys talk highly about him there. And I've known Ron for a long time, and he's always been a great guy and loves the game. And like you said, loves to teach, loves to work with the young guys.
Yeah,
which is great.
He sure does, and he still helps out with the Elgin Middlesex Chiefs. I think. I don't know if he's a coach mentor there or whatever he does. And he got a 25-year pin there a month ago.
Oh, so, cool.
Yeah, it was kind of nice. I was happy for him for sure.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. Oh, that's really good. Now, he won't get his jersey up in the rafters there, though, will he?
I don't think so. No.
Yeah. And then going back to, we obviously met Cindy, married, and everything's great. And then you end up having 2 boys. Yeah. Which, I mean, for any dad who's involved in hockey, we all say, it doesn't matter. I don't care if they play hockey. But deep down inside, you're like, man, I hope these boys love hockey, right?
Oh, for sure. Oh, yeah. Like, I remember specifically when Bo was born, I don't know why I was thinking it was going to be a girl for some reason. And when he says you got yourself a football player, because I thought, football player. Oh my God, I got a boy. As long as they're all healthy, I was super happy, right? But no, it worked out. Yeah, it was great.
No, that's awesome.
And then Cal came along, and it was funny. It's a funny story though. We were walking halls in the hospital just before Bo was born. And Cindy gave me the privilege to pick the names if it was a boy, and she was going to pick if they were a girl because we didn't know.
Right.
So walking hall, and Bo was actually going to be Cal.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, I was. Up till, honest to God, right up till probably an hour before Bo was born. Yeah. And we were walking the halls, and Cindy was kind of in pain, and I looked at her and says, you know what? I think if we have a boy, I'm going to change it to Bo. And she says, really, I don't give a shit what you name him right now.
Just get me out of
Just
here.
get me out of here, you know? So that's a true story. Yeah. So, because I was always been a huge baseball fan, and Cal Ripken was always my player.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
cool.
yeah, big time. So I was going to name
So
him, but I don't know why. It just hit me. Like, I like the name Bo and Cal.
Cool name, yeah.
Yeah. And I named Bo after Bo Jackson and Bo Schembechler, basically.
Cool.
Yeah. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's
Funny
really
story.
Cool. Yeah, no doubt. And then did both the boys take the hockey right away? Like, were they both kind of into it, or did you have any periods where you're like dragging on the rink and they're crying, and you know, kind of like we all go through, I think, as parents with young kids, but did they both kind of take to it pretty good?
Yeah, they took to it right away. I mean, Bo was like right away.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, Bo started walking at 8 months, and he was on skates by 9 months. I had them Lang, you know, the single blade Lang skates.
Yeah.
And I'd put him on, and he would walk around the house in them things like all day.
Yeah.
Dwayne, he wouldn't take them off. It was insane. And then at around, I think it was just a little over 9 months, my aunt used to be the arena manager in Bothell.
Sweet. Nice. Yeah.
So I was off one day. I said, "Can I bring Bo out to see what he does?" And I had them, you know, that little wood thing that you push.
Yeah.
And he sat down on it, and I was like, he would try to push, and then he sat down for a few minutes. And next thing you know, he got up all on his own, and you know, he was just stepping around, but he went and he started pushing it.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
That is unreal, man.
Yeah.
We went through a thing with my son. So when my son was young, probably right around a year, started walking, same idea. We had a pair of skates that a friend of ours had given us for when he's older. Mm-hmm. And they were hidden like not in a closet somewhere. And you know, young kids are rifling through stuff. And so when he started being able to kind of communicate a little bit better, he asked, like, I tie him up kind of. So we tied him up, same thing, like for probably a year. Now this is, and the same with Bo, I don't think this makes them exceptional players when they play in the NHL, but even when they first got on the ice, like for my son, he wore them same thing. And then he started wearing them with those laces set up, and we just put little skate guards on him. So he wore them like outside or like all the time. And, and anyways, but what I found was when he went on the ice, his balance side to side was good. He felt the boot. He knew how to sit in the boot, no problem.
Yeah.
Because when you think about it, it's pretty like it's
pretty stiff.
Yeah, and you're sitting on knife blades, so you're gonna rock. But the rockering front and back, he was struggling with. But his ankle support was great, and that was the one thing that some of my buddies that we're all a little bit. I say I think every parent's a little bit crazy. Yeah. It's just who hides it the best.
Oh, absolutely.
Right. So, So
you
got dads like, hey man, like, what'd you do? You know.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, well, this is kind of what happened to us. So I recommend trying it. Like, put them in skates and let them walk around the house, see how it goes, and you know, it'll help a little bit for sure, especially when they first start going, you know. Was Cal kind of the same then? Was Cal
Cal was more Cal was more laid back in it, but you know, he never minded going to the rink at all. Like, he wanted to play because he seen Bo play and stuff like that. But Cal was more into him and his cousin were pretty tight, Julian, and Julian was into the mortar bikes and the dirt bikes and things like that. And Cal got involved in that. And, you know, that was his path for a while. And, you know, that's fine. But Cal never complained about going to the rink at all. He always wanted to go to the rink, and he never complained about going to play. Yeah. But I think later on in Cal's career, I think he looks back, thinks, you know, what if I would have applied myself more as a younger guy? But you know what? They all have their own path, right? Sure. So I've never forced him. I never forced Cal. Yeah. You know, it's funny, if Bo would break a stick, you know, I'd go and buy him a stick. But if Cal's dirt bike was broke, I didn't know how to fix it because I wasn't good at it. But you know what? I had to get it fixed for him because you know, you got
tit for tat,
right? Yeah. So, that was his path. But Cal's doing really well right now, and I'm pretty happy with him too.
Well, man, and he played elite too. Like, he played junior hockey. He was a great player. Like, worked with him a little bit when he was younger too, and respectful kid, good kid. Like, you know, he does have a different demeanor as far as just like, and it's not a bad demeanor, just kind of, you know, like,
that's his own path, right?
Yeah.
And right now he wants to be a police officer. Cool. So, he's in the process now of going through interviews and things like that. So I'm really happy for him.
And the relationship between Cal and Bo, to me, has always been really, you know, just as an outsider looking in, you got better insight on it, but there's a lot of respect there. Like, you know, Bo respects Cal for what he's doing and what he's done, and Cal respects Bo obviously for what he's doing and what he's pursuing. And it's really cool to see, like, you know, Bo would come home and Cal would have some new gear that Bo would bring up, you know, or you know, and right now I believe Cal's driving the car that Bo had before.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
so like just little things like that, like kind of helping each other out a bit. And I know Cal's gone a bunch of games and been, you know, pumped, you know, obviously proud of his brother.
Yeah.
it's nice to see that dynamic, because you don't see it a lot in every family.
No.
Right? There's going to be jealousy. There's going to be, they just don't get along. They're different people, and in order to accept that and understand it and respect it, I think is huge. And I mean, obviously I think a lot of that falls on the parents, right?
Yeah, no, I have to admit, like Bo and Cal are pretty tight.
Yeah.
Like they're really tight actually. Bo treats him well and vice versa. Cal treats Bo really well. They, like you said, Bo gave his first car to Cal when he was done with it and wanted to get something else. And he looks after Cal pretty good. And Cal's, they call each other for once in a while. Bo, Cal don't want to bother Bo a lot though. Yeah. Like he knows how busy he is and things like that. Yeah. So Cal, once in a while he'll send him a text or a call, but Bo usually will give him a call, 2-3 times a week, see how he's doing and how the process is going with him wanting to be a police officer and things like that. So it's pretty cool. Yeah. Yeah. No, they're pretty tight.
No, it's great, man.
Yeah, it's awesome.
It's really good.
Yeah.
And I mean, the fact that like Bo is kind of 35 years old, stuck in a young 20s body, like he's not huge on texting back right away or on social media or things like that, right? Like,
no. Yeah, Bo's he's pretty mature.
He's
for
probably
his age.
like, if you went to his house, he probably has the old like spiral phone, like the
yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's funny because if people meet him, they wouldn't even, if you wouldn't know he's a hockey player, you wouldn't even know.
No, not at all.
Not at all. No,
you're right. He's very, and he can talk about most things. He's not, some of these young hockey players, you talk to them and right away it's back to hockey where he can talk about, he's great having conversations with and
Well, it's not like his dad. It's always back to hockey.
yeah. That's just a little bit of that hockey crazy sneaking out there. That's all. Yeah.
It is.
But I mean, you got some good stuff to talk about. And at the end of the day, I mean, I'd rather talk about, how Bo's doing in the NHL if I see you, right? Yeah. Rather than like, hey, how's work going?
Yeah.
I don't like talking about work. You don't like talking about work. Let's talk about some fun stuff, right?
Yeah. No, you're right. And I do have, I love my job too. Like I work for Chase Insulation and Concrete. So they're really good to me that let me go to watch hockey and stuff like that. They totally understand. But, and they know that hockey's for me is my passion for too, right? Yeah. So, and the kids are doing well and it's been good. It's worked out. Yeah.
No, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Now growing up with Bo, kind of, let's say he started obviously minor hockey. We're talking 4, 5, 6 years old. Everyone's kind of in the same spot and some kids shine a little bit more, but you've seen it a lot where those kids at 6, 7 that are unbelievable usually aren't the kids at the end of the day that are going to be the kids that are unbelievable. Either they tail off a bit, they don't really like it as much, or other kids catch them or whatever it is. What was Bo, kind of going on Bo's kind of path here, but what was he like in minor hockey? Did he always dominate? Was he always kind of one of the best players, or was he one of the players that was always kind of playing catch up and working hard to keep up?
No, in minor hockey, like in novice in West Lorne where he played his minor hockey to start, Bo was really good. Yeah. Like he could just take the puck whenever he wanted. What really stood out with me with Bo was how hard he worked. Yeah. He wouldn't be the flash and dash guy really. Like he could handle the puck. He could take it down and score. Yeah. But I think it was just his shot. Mm-hmm. Like he could score just inside the blue line. I remember him zipping in the top corner in novice, no problem. Like he was a strong kid, right? Yeah. And then like from there, he just, so he worked hard at it, but it was his work. He hated to get scored on. Right. Like he would work just as hard coming back because he did not like getting scored on. Yeah. It still bugs him the most today.
Well, you can see it.
Oh, it drives him crazy. Yeah. 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 Even though, the plus minus thing for me is kind of, I don't know. It's wishy-washy, right? Yeah. I mean, it could be an empty net goal, and you could have 10 empty net goals a year against, right? You don't know. Or if you're just jumping on the bench and you're just starting to get back into play and they score, it's unfortunate you're a minus, right? But that's just the way it works. Yeah. So, but it still drives him crazy. No, I know, because he's mentioned a couple of times where, like, let's be honest, Vancouver's had a couple tough years where, and he's been rattled about, man, I just jump on the ice, or something happens where a guy misses his mark, they score, and there's another dash for me, you know, which sucks for sure. Yeah. But you can't get caught up with it or dwell on it. No, you can't. You can even see in his face. So when he does get scored on, or their line gets scored on, you see if the camera ends up catching him or whatever, he's just like, you see right away, see his expression, like he just wants to throw something, right? Yeah. Yeah. But that's just the way Bo is. Like, and I'm glad he's that way, right? Because it pushes him. For sure. For sure it pushes him. Now, you think of a 6, 7, 8-year-old with a really good shot, right? So if I see a young kid who's 6, 7, 8 with a good shot, wrist shot, whatever it is, I always think, okay, well, how'd that happen? Because
most kids don't just have a good shot. They're practicing. They're shooting pucks at the barn. They're shooting pucks on the rink. They're getting extra ice, whatever that is. So what did Bo do to kind of develop his skills? Because I know if he loved hockey, he was probably skating a lot and shooting a lot and doing a lot of extra stuff just because he enjoyed it.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like we lived uptown in a little apartment and we had the post office right beside us. So he would shoot a lot of pucks and balls against the post office wall, nice. Right? But that's where he worked, and he did that all the time. And then we moved into another house, and then I painted the whole basement floor into a rink, you know, in the one wall. And he would shoot for hours down there, hours, you know. That's just something that he wanted to do. I didn't force him to go down there and shoot pucks, or you know, you always say, parents will say, get down there and shoot some pucks. You know, I think kids have to want to do it. Right. Sure. And if they want to do it and then they ask for help, or you can go down and say, well, maybe just shoot this way or try this, you know, but they're going to have to want to do it themselves. Right. And I think that's what Bo did was, you know, if it had spare time, it wasn't upstairs watching TV. He was down shooting pucks. Honestly, he was. Yeah. And shot a lot of them too. Yeah. You know?
And you hear that a lot, like a lot of the high end guys that are in the NHL or they go through junior and are playing. You look back on what they did when they were young, and it's a lot of the same recipe. They, you know, and sometimes the parents are driving it a little bit, and you see a lot of that where they have a different attitude. But the kids that really wanted it and really pushed themselves and went and shot pucks and did that, they're different.
No, yeah, for sure.
They're different. They're usually hard working. They're usually dedicated to it. They usually want to make that next jump to the AAA or junior or whatever it is, right? Yeah. And for a guy like Bo, obviously I know him well, and I know he put a lot of hard work. But it's interesting to see that just for some of these young boys and girls, it comes just naturally, right? Like you set up the stuff, you kind of set up the things to help these players succeed. As a dad, you make sure the basement's good, or hey buddy, here's a post office area, we can go shoot back there. All right, we set you up with an area, and now it's up to you to go shoot pucks. Yeah. And some of them will, some of them won't, right? Yeah. And I'm sure like if you look at kind of Bo and Cal, I know my brother and I were the same. I would go shoot pucks for hours. My brother, no, 50-50. Right? Yeah. Like, hey, Neil, you know, come shoot pucks. Like, I'm good. You know, but he was really good at other things and had other interests, which were fine. Yeah. But it's just different to see that two boys, same family, and how different they are.
Exactly.
Right? Like,
it's amazing. Yeah. Right? Like it's amazing what they do. Right. Yeah. Like that's what I just think. Wow. You know, like it's good, but it's you know one thing with I think with Bo is that we always had ever since Bo was a novice or even before. I always said to him, Bo, let's call it truce right now. And we always did. Yeah. I'll pat you on the back. I'll praise you as much as I can whenever you have a good game or something, right? But if there's something I see or if you're not playing well, I'm just going to be straight out and I'm going to tell you. Yeah. And there's a fine line there, though, because, you know, you can give 1,000 positives what that kid did in the game. You give him the one negative at a smaller age, and he's only going to remember the negative. Yeah. He's not going to remember the 1,000 good things you've done. But, you know, he's going to remember that one bad thing.
Oh, that's a good point.
You know what I mean? So I always have to, there's a fine line. And I think that's really important for parents to realize. You can't just keep carving a kid because they all need that pat in the back. I don't care who it is, whether we're at work or wherever. You always need that little pat in the back, right? Yeah. So I've always called it truce with Bo. I said, I'll always pat you on the back. I'll praise you whenever you need it. But if there's something I see, and I'm not always right by far. Yeah. Like I'm not. But if there's something I can see, or if I feel your legs are a little heavy or tired, I'm just going to tell you, your legs weren't there today, you know? Yeah. And it's kind of worked out between us. Yeah. But you have to watch different kids. If I said that to Cal, if I was giving, for sure. He says, I remember driving home one day after a game and I was going on with Cal's game because he didn't play that well. And Cindy's in the front seat, Cal's in the back. And he says to me, Dad. And I says to him, what? He said, the game was over an hour ago. Drop it. I just looked over at Cindy.
He's right.
He's right. Yeah. Like, what am I going to say? Yeah. Where Bo, I could do that. Yeah. And he would listen and he would suck it up, right? Yeah. Cal, that was the way it worked. So, I mean, there's a fine line how your kids are.
Yeah, no,
but with Bo, I always called it truce. Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
And but I never really had to force it on Bo. Right. He always wanted to do it, or he always wanted to get better. Yeah. Or he'd even say, what do you think of this? Yeah. What if I do this? You know? So, you know, you learn from that too. As a parent, we learn too from the kids. 100%, right?
Yeah. And for Bo too, I'm sure sometimes, especially as he got older, you probably didn't have to tell him much. Like, he knew, man, I missed my check there, or I was terrible today. Like he probably was more critical on himself sometimes than than even that you would be, you know what I mean? Or even his coach would be, right?
Absolutely.
Like he kind of knew when he had a bad game, or he knew when he, missed a check or whatever that was, right?
Yeah.
Growing up though, what are some of the things that you would praise him on? So for instance, was it, hey, great job scoring a goal. Hey, nice setup on the assist, or hey, you worked really hard today. We're like, what were some of the key things that you were kind of putting emphasis on as far as like praising him on, or was it kind of all around everything?
That was pretty much all around everything.
Yeah.
But what I did like, because he was so good at, he was good at a young age.
Yeah.
That how he involved his teammates.
Yeah.
Like he really did. He'd pass the puck.
Yeah.
He would move the puck to him. He would back check. Like he wouldn't be lazy and not come back.
Yeah.
I really praised him for that, because I thought, you know what, there's not a lot of kids. They like to score goals, but they don't like to defend. But Bo, I found, was good both ways. Like he was really good that way. So and how good he was with the other kids. He never, even at a young age, he never thought he was better than anybody. He didn't. In that dressing room, he walked in and it was just Bo being Bo with the rest of the kids.
Yeah.
Right. And that's probably what I really loved about him.
Oh, it's good. And the reason I ask you that question is because I think a lot of times parents put so much emphasis on, oh, your line mates are bad. You carry the puck, you score the goals, or, and then they come off, hey, great goal. He's got 3 goals today. That was great.
Yeah.
But the kid played like crap.
Yeah.
Missed 3 checks, was -4, like, cause caused 4 goals against, whatever it is. But some of the parents put so much emphasis on scoring goals, getting assists. And I think you see those kids as kind of being shitty teammates sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
They have terrible time with adversity.
Mm-hmm.
They're in a little bit of a bubble, right? And I think putting emphasis on that back check,
Yeah.
those unsung things that, man, if your kid's got great hands and shooting the puck, they're going to work on that all day because they love it.
Mm-hmm.
If they're not back checking, we need to help praise that. Like, buddy, you got to play both ends. You got to back check. Like, my little guy is young right now and trying to really emphasize, like, when he comes off and he plays really well. Like, he had basketball the other day and he scored 4 baskets, like on the little nets.
Yeah.
He played really well. He's really good. Comes off, he's like, hey, Dad, you see, I got like 5 goals. I'm like, buddy, they're not called goals. What are they called? He's like, baskets. I'm like, yeah, they're called. Okay, you played awesome, man. Good job. But I'm saying, you know what I loved is how every time the ball went back toward the other zone, you were the first guy back under your net.
Yeah, exactly.
Your arms up. Like, I love that. That was great. You worked hard. Like, but trying to emphasize those little things, because for me, just like Bo, like, and Cal as well, is I want my kid to be a good kid.
Exactly.
If he ever plays junior hockey, it's amazing. If he ever plays that's great. I don't care. It doesn't matter.
It's a bonus.
Yeah, let's see if the path goes, right? But
Yeah.
I just want him to be, and I know Bo well, obviously, but he is a good teammate. He'll put his teammates before him all day.
All day long.
He'll dish to a guy backdoor for that hat trick when he has an empty net to score in. Like, he's that type of, he's a thoughtful person,
Yeah.
And I think that starts at young ages. Trying to whip a kid at 10 and 11 and 12 to start being more like that, I think it's hard. So I think for parents, going back to the question, was for parents, I think, is emphasizing the correct things after sporting events or after math, whatever it is, right? Doesn't matter what it is.
Doesn't matter.
I think it's huge. And brought up some really good points on that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I always have to remember, like, I always called it truth with my kids. Like I say, but they're all different.
Yeah.
But you have to remember, there's a fine line, because like I say, you can give 1,000 positives. That one negative, they're only going to remember the negative.
Yeah.
So you know what? My dad used to say it best, and it was pretty cool. I learned from him too, is he used to say when I used to play, the game, I said, what'd you think, Dad? Because I thought I was pretty good.
Yeah.
And he'd look at me and say, were your legs a little heavy tonight? He didn't say you weren't skating or you weren't moving your feet. He just said, were the legs a little heavy? I said, well, I didn't think so, but maybe. He goes, yeah, I think you can push it a little better next game. That was it.
Yeah.
And you knew. That burnt my ass more than anything, right?
Yeah.
But the thing is, you kind of knew.
Yeah.
And that's where, I don't know, every kid's different, right? Yeah. I mean, we all, like you say, we all emphasis on points. Even the NHL, it's about points, right? That's how you get paid. That's, it's points. But it's funny, when they do video review, they'll say to Bo, great stick here.
Yeah.
You caused that turnover to go down for somebody else to score. Great stick here. Good body positioning there. Good back check on there. I mean, there's a lot more to it than going the other way.
Well, that's the thing. I think behind the scenes, when these guys are looking for contracts, and now that he's playing in the NHL, looking for contracts and stuff like that, points are huge. Obviously, that's what we all look at as spectators, right?
Yeah.
But man, that coach is saying this guy's good defensively. He's picking out passes all the time. He's unbelievable on draws.
Yeah.
All those little things obviously help these guys get careers and play longer.
Exactly.
And I think, looking at guys that are polishing their game and getting their game better, it's only going to extend their careers, hopefully. Right. And, it's taking pride in those little things sometimes, not always getting the big goal or the big assist, but taking pride in, and I think that translates back to minor hockey. If we're praising that block shot or that good stick in a lane.
Exactly.
Right? It's
Exactly.
huge, man. And that's going to help that kid
exactly.
Get better.
You know, and if it comes off, and you know, the whole game, I've always said, Dwayne, I don't know if you agree with me or not. I always said 30% is skill and sticking or skating, and 30% is knowing the game, right?
Yeah.
And then the rest, to me, is confidence. I don't know, but I'm taking, or even you can go 30% is knowing the game skill, and 70% is confidence, right? Yeah. And where you get confidence, if you do something well and you do a block shot or you do a good stick or something, the coach comes off and he goes, great stick, right? You don't have to say great goal.
Yeah.
You just have to say great stick. And I think that sticks a long ways with kids.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, man.
You know, there's nothing wrong with them. If they make a mistake, you got to tell them.
Yeah.
Because that's how they get better. But if they do something well too, you got to tell them.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So,
and sometimes there's a lack of that from coaches, right?
Well, exactly.
There's a little lack
That's what
of
I'm
like,
saying.
Hey, buddy, great. Like that whole goal that happened 30 seconds after you took that hit, that was because of you.
Exactly.
There's nothing better coming off the ice. You didn't get an assist on it because you got leveled at the blue line. But hey, that was all you, man. You took that hit, that puck squirted out. We got it 3-on-2. They scored off it. That was all you.
Exactly.
And for that young player or even older player, even a guy in the NHL, even you and I played men's league. Like, all right, hey, thanks.
Yeah,
thanks,
exactly.
right?
It's just that little confidence boost, right? That what you did. Like, you know, if you're in the defensive zone, you win that draw, you're the centerman, you win the draw, and you go to your right position, get the puck, you bring it up, you make a nice play, and you're the fourth guy to touch it. It all started with you back, like you said, 30 seconds ago, right? Like when you watch a play, when you back up a play, you got to, if there's a mistake or something, you got to back it up where it all began, right? You just, because a guy lost his coverage in front of the net. Well, why did he lose his coverage? Because of this guy back here didn't move the puck quick enough or something like that,
and
right?
I think it's also too, you know, part of parents and spectators, let's say parents understanding the sport.
Yeah.
Right? Because you've been around minor hockey for a long time where you're at the rink and someone scores a sick goal and they're like, oh my God, way to go, Johnny. And you're like, man, that defenseman made a heck of a play to get that puck up ice. Yeah. You know, that goal would never happen with that, you know, Timmy didn't put that puck up ice or whatever it is, right? Like, so I think it's looking at the whole play, like you said, man, little Johnny never gets any credit, but he works his tail off down there and he actually chipped the puck up the wall and they got a chance to get out and here you go.
And you know what the funny part is, Dwayne, about it all is as they get older, the scouts, the real hockey people see plays like that. Yeah. They find that guy. Yeah. Right? Like it's insane. Like I was with Mark Hunter Thursday night watching a game in Sarnia. He was there watching and he stood me for 2 periods and, you know, he's a remarkable hockey man.
Yeah. He can see it well.
He can see it well. Like he don't need analysts or anything like that to see. Like he'll say, you know, that kid works hard. You see that play getting the puck up? I mean, you know, they all see it as they get older. It's not about the guy putting the puck in the net. Of course, it's always good that, you know, you like to see a nice shot or whatever, but they recognize how that puck got up there. Yeah. You know, and that's hard as parents. And I was that same way. It's hard because of the goal scorers getting all the recognition and everything. Right. Yeah. Like I remember when Bo was in Toronto and we had a tournament and it was in, I believe it was in Chicago. And, you know, Bo had an unbelievable game. We were playing Honey Bake and it was, we ended up winning 3-2. We could hardly beat Honey Bake. Yeah. But Bo just turned it up a notch, you know, and I think he got a goal and 2 assists that game out of the 3. Yeah. And he was tremendous. Like, and, no, it was 4-2. And the one guy that he scored the 1 goal and set up 1. So Bo had 2 and 1 and the other guy had 1 and 2. And they give the player of the game to the other guy, right? Yeah. And, you know, I was happy for the other kid too, but deep down you thought, oh man, like Bo was super here. You didn't have him on that ice, you know, and he was winning faceoffs and things like that. But then you have other parents come up and say, hey, Bo was tremendous. Bo was tremendous. And then it gets you thinking, you know what? Yeah, it's a team game. Yeah. So what? Yeah. I'm happy for him. He got that award. That's awesome. But, you know, like other people notice too, right? So that's the whole thing. Like I get where parents come from because I was in that same boat too, right? But now as you get older and you see, you learn from it. Yeah. You know what I mean? I think that's the biggest thing you learn from it. So.
And I think going back to something like that, I'm not, but you know, your kid doesn't get an award and probably should, right? Let's just say MVP of a game, whatever it is. Yeah. I know for me, one of my biggest things would be like, you make sure that you go and say good job to your teammate. You know what I mean? Like,
oh,
some of these guys, you've seen it, like they didn't get it. They're just in the corner, pissed, you know, they're all mad. You know, it's a different dynamic, right? But like, those are all little lessons I think that it sucks to get shunned sometimes. Sometimes you don't get the recognition that you want, but guess what? It happens in life.
That's life.
That guy just got a promotion. You know,
exactly.
He's not a good guy.
It doesn't matter. He's got a promotion.
And you worked your tail off and you didn't get it this time.
Yeah.
Happens. Yeah. Right. So just learning how to deal with that kind of stuff at a young age, I think
I think that's what makes kids stronger.
100%, man.
That's what makes kids stronger, man. Like, I mean, life today is not easy.
Yeah.
With all the social media and stuff going on, like it's not easy out there, but it makes these guys mentally tougher.
Yeah.
And that's a big part too. Like your mental, Dwayne, how many times out there, you know, when you're teaching kids, by the way, you do a great job. I mean, you got Bo to where he has to be. There's no question. And he still speaks so highly of you guys, especially you. And even Mark Hunter on Thursday spoke very highly of you. And it's awesome. Thanks. And I'm glad Bo, since a young age, was all part of it with you because, you know, he was, you helped him. You definitely helped him get there. So
thanks,
I really appreciate it. Seriously.
Thanks, man.
But the thing is like you always want your kid to be as best he can be, right? But there's little lessons you have in there too that they have to learn that it's not always going to be here, right? It's not always going to be you're going to be that guy. You know what I mean? Like there's some players that are all skilled and scoring, but they have never had adversity yet in their game. And when they do at a later age, it's harder to get out of it. Right?
For sure.
But these younger guys that have adversity when they're younger mentally come out of it quicker because they know how to handle it better.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's what I find a lot with Bo is, you know what, Bo went through a lot with leaving home early.
Yeah.
That it made him mentally stronger.
Well, I think that's a big part of his makeup, like of you know, obviously having good, strong family with even your extended family back home and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Having good role models around him with good uncles and cousins and things and good parents, obviously. But, you know, let's go through that real quick. But at a young age, you guys got an opportunity, and this is still happening to this day where, you know, teams in Toronto are looking for the best players. They want to make the best teams, and there's nothing wrong with that.
No.
But, you know, at a young age, you guys got approached and said, hey, there's an opportunity for, you know, Bo to come to Toronto. And how is that? Because it's happening right now to a lot of kids in a lot of different areas, right?
Yeah.
Where, hey, got an opportunity to go play on a good club with great, you know, skill development stuff, workout stuff, you know, a good team that could win tournaments and could be, you know, really, you know, kind of push, right? What was that like going through for you and I guess the family as far as just making that decision to say, you know what, man, we might go down the 401 here?
Well, it was probably one of the toughest decisions we've ever had to make.
Yeah.
There's no question. Did we do the right thing? Debatable.
Yeah.
Did it help Bo? Debatable. But like I said to you, one thing it did do was make Bo so mentally strong that, you know, the hockey's one thing. It was great hockey. It was good. I mean, we had a lot of parents and a lot of family members not happy with our decision.
Right.
Especially the system that you played for, which would be the Elgin Middlesex Chiefs, weren't happy with our decision. But it's something we did. Do I regret it? I don't regret what I did. Because now I look back and I think, wow, did it ever mature Bo?
Right.
Really matured him.
Yeah.
Was the hockey great? The hockey was really good. We went in all the high end tournaments. You're playing against the best players all the time. You see where you're at. I was happy. I think the biggest regret, if there is any regret, is Cindy or my wife and I always worried what Bo felt. Because at 12 years old, he left home.
Yeah.
Now, parents think back at a 12-year-old, letting your 12-year-old go play and stay with another family 3 hours away. Even though it's 3 hours away, that's a 12-year-old kid.
Yeah.
So my wife was always, you know, she would be upset and crying sometimes. Did we do the right thing? Because we missed some of his childhood, right?
Yeah.
Did we do the right thing? And Bo told us exactly 2 years ago. I remember it when we went and watched him in it was Nashville, and we were just walking down the street, and he said to us, "Don't ever regret sending me to Toronto, because I've never regretted it. I'm so happy I got the chance to do it.
Yeah.
And I think it's made me a better player." And that just, I looked over and my wife started crying because that's been bugging her for years.
Yeah.
And bugging me too. But I think Bo was just mature enough. He realized that he says, don't ever, feel guilty about your decision, because it was one of the best things I think I could have done. So that made me feel better.
Oh man, for sure.
Yeah. That made us feel a lot better. And that was just a couple of years ago he told us. So that was nice to hear.
Yeah. And I had a chance to chat with him a little bit about that experience too. And, would he be where he is now if he hadn't gone? Maybe. You don't know, right?
Yeah.
But would he have been as mentally tough as he is right now? Maybe not. I think he'd still be a pretty mentally tough kid. He's but I think, because he said, like, it was, what I remember, he mentioned even the drive down, like, you're 12 years old, you've said, okay, I'm going to go.
Dwayne,
and you're driving down.
Toughest,
and you told me, like, oh man,
toughest day of my life.
As a father, a parent, it's like,
it's unbelievable. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can still picture him in the back, bawling his eyes out and saying to me, Dad, I can't do it.
Yeah.
I can't do it. And I honestly, God, I turned around, I seen him crying, and I said, Bo, you just made my life easier.
Yeah.
It's no worries. We'll just go home.
Yeah.
And I said, well, go into the Kitchener Service Center here, get yourself cleaned up. We'll grab something to eat, and we'll turn the car around. I mean, it's all good.
Yeah.
You know what, Dwayne? 10 minutes later, he comes out, and he just, honest to God, he said, if I don't do this, I'll never know. So I'm going to try it. I said, are you sure? And he said, yep. And Sydney goes, are you sure, Bo? And he said, yeah, I got to do it. I got to do it to know.
And we have a hard time doing this at 40 and 50.
Yeah, and he's 12 years old. Honest to God, this is the truth.
Yeah.
And I said to him, okay, but if it doesn't work out, I'm only 3 hours away. I can come and get you.
Yeah.
You can just come home, But, he was going to a school with a total of 150 people, where he was going to grade 7 down there, or grade 6 down there with 780 people in 2 classes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was all new to him, like the schooling, the teachers, the people he's living with. I mean, that's a big
crazy
pill to swallow, right? And then when it was funny, because his grades were okay, not the best, and the teacher called his billing parents and said, he needs help in this field or whatever, and then she explained to him what was going on, and they were blown away by it.
For sure,
like they were blown away by it. So we actually went down and met the teachers, and honest to God, from this day on, they helped him out. Like they just kind of not took him under their wing, but they knew the circumstances and they helped him out with his homework. And man, he was an honor student by the end of it. But I think it was just, they thought, wow, quite the maturity for his age. And then they helped him out, which was awesome.
Oh, it's huge.
It was huge.
Yeah. And I think a lot of times we're quick to pass judgment as outsiders. Let's say I'm Bo and my son are playing together, and all of a sudden you guys go to Toronto. Everyone passes judgment,
absolutely,
because they're not in that situation, right? But hearing kind of the outcome of it, as far as came out the other side, okay, because he returned back home. And it was 2 years later that he came back.
Yeah, he come back for his major midget and his minor midget year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, or major band. I'm sorry.
Sorry, major band, minor midget year. Yeah, that's right.
So, I mean, he came out of it on the right side. He ended up coming back home. It was all good. But I think that 2 years of him being in Toronto and living in kind of that hockey cesspool, let's be honest, there's so much hockey. There's so many teams. There's so many people. Like,
it's insane.
Money floating around. It's just nuts, right?
Yeah.
But going through all that and like you said, keeping his school in check, living with a different family, having success on the ice, I think no doubt mentally, really changed him as far as just being able to deal with anything.
Absolutely.
Anywhere.
No question. Yeah.
And then, everyone kind of knows Bo's path, but, he ends up having a good minor hockey when he comes back, playing some good hockey in Bantam and minor midget with the Elgin Middlesex Chiefs. Gets drafted to the OHL in the first round, which is, I think pretty much his dream obviously come true, being in the area. Everyone wants to play in the OHL, and he gets that opportunity.
Yeah.
And then now all of a sudden he's kind of the guy. He's a first round pick. Going to London, big club, 9,000 fans every game. Here we go, right? And then the Hunters decide to load up. They want to try to get a good team. And then Max Domi comes in.
Yeah, 2 weeks after.
And then that we had 2 weeks of spotlight, and here we go. Here's our guy. And then all of a sudden, boom. We talked about it a little bit earlier, but if you're not mentally tough to deal with that at 16 years old as a first round pick, now a guy comes in who's I think 1 or 2 picks before you through a trade, but now he's their first round pick, basically their top first round pick.
Yeah.
Totally different players.
Yeah.
But at the time, they're both 16, both skilled, both lit up minor midgets. So they're pretty much the same from what everyone thinks, right? Like if no one knows, they're like, both these guys are skilled, they're going to light it up.
Yeah.
Well, and if you ask Bo or you ask Max, they're good buddies. Like they
best friends.
Respect the shit out of each other. They both respected their skill, all that stuff.
Yeah.
But Bo played fourth line, Max played first line power play.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's, again, that will crumble a kid at 16.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he dealt with it. I mean, it was just part of the process.
Oh yeah. And then,
right?
you know what? And I'm so happy that Bo and Max honestly are best friends today.
Yeah.
They're really tight and it's great to see. And Max is a great kid.
Yeah. He's a good guy.
Once you get to know him, he is a great kid,
Yeah.
great family, and I'm happy it all worked out. But you know what? That first year, I'm not going to lie, as a parent, you see your kids sitting there and you see other players playing. It wasn't easy.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't easy.
Oh, I can't imagine.
And you just keep biting your tongue, you just keep biting your tongue and you just, but in some strange reason, Mark and Dale and Dylan knew what the hell they were doing because, I remember after that first year, they got to go to Shawinigan for the Memorial Cup, right? They lost in overtime.
Yeah.
And they had a great team there and it was all good. But after that, Bo come home that summer and honest to God, this is what he said to me. I'm going to get better. I know what I got to do. And I'm not going to play 8 minutes a game anymore. And I said, okay, you know what you got to do. You got to do it. And the rest is history. But that's strange. It's strange. In some way, shape, or form, Mark and Dale knew what they were doing with them.
Oh, yeah.
And Dylan.
Yeah.
They really did.
Yeah.
Right? And it made him a better player.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, I love the Hunters.
Yeah.
I do. Like, like I said, Mark and I were sitting at the game last Thursday and Dale, he'll, once in a while throw me a text. What are you doing? Stop by the dressing room if you got time. I mean, they're just that type of guys, right? They know their hockey. They know what it takes to win. As a parent at the first, until it's tough.
They might not have been your favorite people
exactly,
at the start, right?
Because it was tough, right?
Yeah.
But like I say, in some strange way, it made them better.
Yeah.
Like for an example, that year Bo played with Tierney, Anderson, and Bo on a line.
Yeah.
Honestly, that was probably one of the best force lines in the OHL that year.
And they were good. Like they
were
good. A lot of minutes, but they were good.
They were good every time they were out there. They did their job, what they had to do, right? And then come to think of it, at the end, they were the first three to get in the NHL off that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's crazy.
So it's crazy. Yeah. But now Max was having great success.
Yeah.
It's awesome to see because, and Bo knew as soon as he was going to Montreal, Bo says Max is going to be a totally different player.
Yeah.
And I said, yeah. And he goes, yeah. He said he's going to be totally different.
Yeah.
Because he loves that, right? And it's just a refresh for him, and it's awesome.
Oh, it's almost a bit of a reset button for guys.
Exactly.
And he's in the fun hockey market.
And
he's a Canadian kid. Yeah. He's been around the Maple Leafs forever.
Yeah.
He wants that. That energy.
And you can't blame him. It's awesome, man. And like even with Bo, with all the rest of the nights, with Tierney and Anderson and Harrington and all them guys, he still communicates with them. He still comes back here and trains in the summer. He still skates with them guys. Ole Mata and him are best buds. I mean, it's really cool to see.
Yeah, for sure.
It's so cool to see.
A quick story though. I remember Bo's first year, and obviously I'd been working with Bo for a while, and I'd worked with the Knights, and I'd been around the Knights for quite a while, so I knew Mark and Dale really well, and they're very black and white, and they have a bit of a process they like to follow with young players, and some get exceptional. They get a bit of a free pass sometimes, but for the most part, guys pay their dues. But I remember walking in the hallway at the Bud Gardens, walking through and you're kind of just pacing. It's in intermission. I think and I could tell like Bo hadn't played a lot and Domi's playing a lot, and it wasn't a knock on Domi, it just was the way it was. Yeah. And I remember chatting with you, and you're like, Blazer, like I'm losing. Like this is, I get it, man. You're a dad. I didn't have a kid at the time, so for me it was easy just to be like, Timmy, relax, man. Yeah. It's part of the process, So we had a good conversation about it, and I remember saying to you. And sometimes, as a young guy with no kids, maybe I said stuff that to some parents that have kids, because I didn't have a kid at the time. So I'm like, don't worry about it. Yeah. It's fine. It's like, you're like, screw you. You have no idea. But I remember saying like, it's part of the process. It doesn't make sense right now. Exactly. It doesn't make sense because he's good. He should probably be playing more. I agree with you 100%. But I think this will all work out. Just knowing Bo too, and even Tierney and Anderson, like they're hardworking kids. They're gonna want to get better.
Yeah.
And then I remember fast forwarding to like Bo's draft year, and you and I like kind of chatting and joking and laughing about the first year, just on how stressful it was as a parent, because you want what's best for your kid. Everyone does.
Everybody does.
And then you know he's not getting a lot of minutes, not playing. He's a good player. You're like, man, maybe if we had gone to Peterborough or we had gone wherever, maybe we would have played more, right? It all worked out, obviously.
Oh, absolutely.
But it's
no
funny,
question.
Tim, and how many players right now I talk about Bo and Tierney and Anderson saying, listen, like, you know, these guys played on the fourth line. You're 16 years old and you're mad because you're not getting enough minutes right now on a really good hockey team.
Exactly.
Just learn how to play the right way. They're teaching you right now, play defensively, have a good stick, all those little things. If you learn it, you're gonna get better. You're gonna get your cookies. Like,
oh, absolutely.
You're gonna get filled. Don't worry.
Absolutely.
But you got to go through that process, and that's really hard, I think, for players. Number one, and it's really hard for parents to go through that, where you want what's best for your kid. You feel your kid's getting slighted. And it's hard to deal with that, right?
Well, you know, like in society today, you all want your kids to be the best at whatever they do.
Yeah.
No matter what. Yeah. Right. And we still are today. I still am today. I just want them to keep progressing. Right. There's no ceiling, just keep going. Right. But sometimes you have to really step back and think, okay, I see where they're going with it. All right. Or sometimes it just doesn't hurt to ask.
Yeah.
What's the process? Yeah. And then you can see it from their side. And then you can, you know, it's better than just going on and ripping somebody.
Yeah. That's a really good point.
So, you know, it's nothing wrong with going to ask management or coach or say, what's the process here? Like, you know, and 90% of them are all great. Like in Vancouver, Jim Benning's great. Like he's really, he always comes over and he'll say, hi, Mr. and Mrs. Horvat. Really nice. Like they're human. Right. Yeah. So you can talk to humans, right? You should be able to, you know what I mean? And the coaching staff, they're all good people. Yeah. The management's good. The players are insane. The players, that it doesn't matter what age group, all the kids just want to be as kids or play, right? They're all there for the same reason. Yeah. They want, because they love to play and they're there, and the dressing room's great. So that's why I think with me is like, I have no problem going to talk with somebody. If I have to, I will. Right. But honestly, I don't ever remember going to talk to Dale or Mark about it. I just didn't, because I had so many people say this is their process. Yeah. That, and including you, told me this is the process.
But I mean, a party wants to like go down to that office and be like, boys, what's going on here?
What's going on here, right?
But in that time too, though, did you have, instead of talking to Mark and Dale, did you talk to Bo and say, Bo, like, man, you know, and was Bo part of the, in that process, was Bo the guy saying, Dad, it's okay? Like, or was he frustrated with it as well? I know there's got to be a little bit of frustration.
There was a little bit, but no, he never did. Yeah. He just said, when I get my chance, I just got to be there. Yeah. That's exactly all he took it as. I'm here now. I can't do nothing about it. Yeah. Right? Like, you got to thank your lucky stars. First of all, he was drafted 9th overall to the OHL. Yeah. Awesome. And to the London Knights, which is nice and close to home. We could all go there, right? You have to take a step back and you have to think, wow, it's pretty special, because Bo always thought to himself, he never put the NHL first, ever. Yeah. His process was always playing the best minor hockey he could. And he says, you have to get to the OHL first, Dad, before you can get to the NHL. You can't go anywhere else. Yeah. So my goal is to make the OHL first. And then I'll work on getting to the NHL. That's exactly his path. That's exactly what he said he needed to do. And then, so you think like that first year, because there's a lot of kids get drafted, they get sent down to junior B just to keep going. Oh yeah. To keep their process. But they kept Bo up there. So after a while you get thinking, okay, so you're playing 8 to 9 to 10 minutes a game. It's good because he's learning every day. He's skating every day. He's learning from the best every day, and it pushed him. And that's what I said. After the season was over, he said to me, "I'll never play that many lower minutes anymore. I'm gonna work him. I know what I got to do." And he did. Yeah, I know he was. So I mean, that's Bo's path, right? That's Bo's pushing himself to be that way. Yeah. Not all the kids would do that. I don't know. Yeah. Well, I'm just looking from my point of view. Because he's mentally strong. He could handle it. That's what I'm saying. Like he was mentally, and guys like you were talking to him, you know, working on his skills and stuff like that. So it all worked, right? Yeah. And but I mean, even if you're a young guy playing on the Bantam team and you're that 10th forward that got picked out of 10 forwards, and you're that exactly, you know, going through each line, but having that mentality, like I want to be in the top 6. I want to work my tail off to get to the top 6. And exactly setting those goals and just the same thing Bo did. Because then
we fast forward through Bo's OHL career. Obviously, had a great career, and we don't have to get all into it. But then he goes to the NHL draft, highly touted guy. Here we go, probably going to go in the first round. Gets drafted, but he gets drafted for a trade. Vancouver trades up, and now Corey Schneider's gone. Everyone's losing their mind because Corey Schneider's gone, and now Bo's that guy that just, man, hopefully he's good enough to replace Corey Schneider. Yeah. He's not a goalie, I don't think. So now, there's all this other stuff going on there again where, when you read the papers, it's a hockey market, you read all this stuff that, what are they doing? Now it's probably 50-50. A lot of them are pumped. They get Bo Horvat, but a lot of them are like, what's going on? We're losing our goal. And you get all this stuff going on. So now again, he's in a situation where now we're sitting here talking like this is such a bad thing. You got drafted first in the first round, it's all good. But for a young kid, again, you're 18 years old and, now you're like, I gotta really prove myself because they gave up a good player. However that whole thing worked out. And I mean, he's obviously done quite a good job with it, and we were talking earlier. Now they got real, they're a fun team to watch.
Yep.
Like and you've watched probably every single game. So they're way more fun to watch this year than the years past. It's just Absolutely. As far as exciting, they're younger, their skill. And, but then they get, this Pettersson who's doing unbelievable. And we were kind of joking that the one thing with Bo is Bo doesn't need the spotlight. No. And I think this is a big thing for every minor hockey team. Like you're one of the best players on the team. It's okay for other guys to shine.
Absolutely.
So as long as the team's doing well and you're tracking the right way and you're doing the right things, you're playing the right way, that's okay.
Yeah. At the end of the day, it's about winning.
Yeah, exactly.
When you play pro, the end of the day is about winning the Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
That's all Bo wants to do.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah.
So if he's going to play that type of player just to get there, then that's what he's willing to do.
Yeah.
Right. And that's pretty cool for a kid that, he's happy for he loves Pettersson.
Yeah.
There's no, he sits back and he actually learns from him.
Oh, he's good, man.
He learns from him. He just learns his subtle movements with the puck and how he shoots the puck and how he sees the ice. I mean, these guys still learn every day.
Oh, yeah.
Just because they're here, it doesn't mean they're not going to keep learning.
Yeah.
And they learn every day from that, right? Yeah. But getting back to the draft, I remember that was probably one of the best days of our lives to see your kid get drafted.
Yeah.
But when Bettman stood up there and said, you might want to hear this because the crowd was booing him.
Right.
And he said, New Jersey Devils have just made their trade, their ninth pick for Corey Schneider. And then Vancouver got the 9th pick and they selected Bo. I was so happy, but again, I sat back down and I thought to myself, why couldn't this kid just get drafted normally?
Yeah.
Because now he's always going to be compared to the Corey Schneider, who is a great goaltender, who is a great guy for the organization.
Yeah.
You come to find this out, right?
Yeah.
The hardest part for me was how much the press and the fans were ripping Bo that didn't even know about him because all they looked at is his points in the OHL and they weren't, they weren't off the charts.
Yeah.
But they just thought they could have got more for him. And, you listen to different media. And you know what? I just knew deep down they didn't know Bo. They don't know the kid, how hard he's worked and what kind of kid he is. And that hurt. Like as a dad, that hurt me.
Yeah.
Because I know what he's put in and I know how hard he's worked and what he's sacrificed and how hard he just wants to win. And, and that really hurt. And I just thought to myself, just wait, just let him show you, just don't. The hardest thing is when someone cuts your kid up and you're reading it and you're reading it, but that's all part of being a pro athlete. You're going to get it, right? Yeah. You have to be tough skinned as parents because that happens.
Yeah.
And the media market's strong in Vancouver. There's no question. They're good. They're good to me. They're good to Bo. I'm not going to say they're not. Some fans can be cruel, but they have that right? Yeah. We're Canadians. We can critique anything we need, right? To make it better, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, that was hard for me. That's where I really had a wake up call on how tough it's going to be. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just sat back and I thought, I'm so proud of him, but oh boy, just put the extra pressure on him because it's just not it's not being drafted normally now. Now you've been traded for a number 1 goaltender.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it just puts that added pressure to the kid that I'm thinking, but you know what? If anybody can handle it, he can, because he's mentally tough. And
that's the thing, though, right? I think it happened for a reason, and happened, I think, to the right guy in the draft. Where I mean, some of the other boys might have been plenty fine to deal with it, but I mean, the way he came out of it, because let's say not making the team the first year, going in his second year making the team, kind of right out of camp, and then now all of a sudden, look 2-3 years later, he silenced a lot of those critics. Right?
Yes.
Like, because had he hadn't, though, it'd be like, oh man, that was one of the worst trades in Vancouver's history, where he, righted the ship. And I don't think, knowing Bo well enough, I don't think it's something he thought about every day at all.
Nope.
But I think it's something
not at all.
Just the way he plays, it doesn't matter what happened, how he got there. It doesn't matter. He's gonna get better and better and better. And only reason why is because he works his tail off.
Exactly.
And he always wants to get better. He's always looking at ways to improve. He's always looking at little areas of his game to tweak. And he's been like that since I met him in Bantam.
Yeah.
He's always got something, skating or his shooting. He wants to get shots off from the top of the circle. He's always got areas he wants to work on. I think that's a key part of his success all the way through. And, you and him having dialogue on it. But I think for parents is identifying those key areas that kids need to get better at. And even at the NHL level, there's still stuff he's got to work on. And
every day.
He's bought in and he wants to, right? So,
and it's so funny because, when he was drafted and he went to their first camp, Tortorelli was all over him. And so was Trevor Linden, saying, I don't think this kid can play. I don't think he can play. I don't think he's fast enough. He's got to get quicker. He's not fast enough, and it was funny because Bo come back and he watched the Sedins, how hard they worked and how good they were in the off season and how they were at camp and they kept other kids that went after Bo in the draft, and they sent Bo home earlier, and Bo just knew then, okay, you know what?
Gotta get faster.
I gotta get faster. Yeah. He didn't cry about it, didn't suck it. He didn't, say, oh, this or that. He sucked it up and went to work on it, and you taught him. Well,
not even that. I joked around. I was doing a coaching clinic with a bunch of coaches and talking about important skills in hockey and all this stuff, and brought up Bo's name and what was one of his biggest knocks when he got drafted in the NHL? And a couple guys were like, oh, skating wasn't fast enough. I'm like, what did he compete in a couple years later at the All-Star game?
Yeah.
Fastest skater. And he did well. He was fine, but you watch him play now, he's going blown by D, and even his first year in the NHL, there was a couple goals where like, shit, he turned style that D. Yeah. And he's got the speed, the top end speed was fine. Maybe sometimes it doesn't look pretty doing it as far as he's got a real wide base sometimes the way he tracks. Yeah. But he put in work, man. And, and I think that's one of the things that it's great for our young guys to watch him when he comes around, and he's such a play guy, and, he's friendly to everybody, but just seeing how hard these guys work. You put him and a guy like Oli Mata and Boone Jenner together and watch them go. Some of these young kids are like, these guys all have legit contracts in the NHL, and I'm trying to fight for an AHL or an NHL deal. And these guys, are putting in the amount of work that they're putting in. It's
insane.
It's awesome.
Insane. It's insane too. Bo had to change his eating habits. Yeah. And he did that. He had to change his workout when he come in, because he's seen the Sedins and he learned a lot from Daniel and Henrik. Yeah. And they're, by the way, the two nicest guys you'll ever meet. They're insane guys. Yeah. Fans can rip them apart or say what they are, but I'll tell you, they're the two classiest. Yeah. It's insane what Bo learned from them in 4 years. Yeah. It's insane. They taught him. They taught him how to be a leader. They taught him how to win. They taught him the right way, which is utmost respect, right? So, but they were always number one in their fitness, And Bo just at 18, just come off the Memorial Cup, and it was a quick turnaround. He didn't have hardly any time to train, no excuses. When he got there, he was last in the run. Yeah. Last. And a guy like Torts, that doesn't go over well, right? Because Torts is a hard ass, right? Yeah. So, the next year when they sent Bo back, he knew what he had to do. Yeah. And then and he did it in that summer. And then at 19, he started his career. So, he had to put the work in, though, Dwayne. It just didn't come easy. No. And I think it was like that all the way through. You know, he was always a good player, but this is one of the reasons why I like talking to, guys like you, and there's a reason why he's had success. It wasn't just a yellow brick road that got him to where he wanted to go. Not even chance.
Now he's a great story as far as just how, he always was, but when you peel back those layers, man, he shot pucks when he was a kid all the time. He would go outside in the winter and shoot balls. Because the thing I hear from kids sometimes, I got a shooting area, but it's kind of snowing out. I'm like, you have a shovel? Shovel it off. Go shoot pucks. What's your excuse? Exactly. Or a kid will come in and be like, at 13 years old, hey, I got a blister in my hand from shooting pucks. It's about time. Yeah. Should have blistered that 4 years ago. Yeah. You're finally getting, it's good. I'm proud of you. That's awesome. But I don't care about blisters. You should have calluses right now. Your palms should look like just meat, like just meat, you know?
Yeah. Like, you know what, like, you know, for an example, Dwayne, you hit the nail on the head, like for Bo's past, like his path to get there. Yeah. He was a 9th pick to the OHL, 9th pick to the NHL, which is kind of, it helps, right? It's a fast track. You're a high pick, right? But at that time, he knew what he had to do to make the NHL. Just because you're drafted to the NHL doesn't mean you're there.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of kids drafted 4th, 5th, 6th round, 7th round that beat out kids that's drafted 1st, 2nd, or 3rd round or 4th round.
Yeah.
Because they work at it. They get it.
Yeah.
Right? And it's like everything else. You can make excuses all day long. That's one thing Bo never did. And I can honestly say he never made excuses. He never did. He thought, okay, I'll fix you, right?
Yeah.
You say I can't do it, I'm going to show you I can do it.
Yeah.
Right? And that's what I mean by, I think, for me, that I'm the most proud of, is that kid always pushed himself to be better. Yeah. And he still is today.
Yeah.
You know, he still is today. Like, I would love to see him score more. But right now, with the way Vancouver is, there's so many injuries, they got him playing the defensive side, right?
Yeah.
He's all good with it.
Yeah.
He said, it doesn't matter, Dad. We gotta do what it's gonna do to win. I gotta do what I can do, right? And I'm proud of him for that. You know what I mean?
So I mean, I guess one of the biggest takeaways from this is no matter if your kid plays in the NHL or not, you're still a dad at heart, right? It's still that's the key, right? Yeah, totally.
You're still a dad no matter what you do. That's my kids, right? That's your
funny,
kids.
When I was chatting with Bo in the summer, we were chatting and we're talking about Timmy, and I'm like, hey, he's like, oh, Blazer. He's like, I still get texts from Timmy after games, be like, Bo, you got to do that and whatever. He's like, just shaking his head, right? He's like, you know what? Though I kind of like it. Like, you know, it's kind of, it's great.
It's funny. My sister said to him, she was in, where did she go? To Boston, I think it was, with her and her husband, went and watched him, and they were talking, and she says, like, does your dad drive you crazy, you know, after every game, or tell you what you can do or can't do, or, you know, like what you should have did? And he goes, oh yeah, he still does. And, you know, and he got laughing, and Tracy says to him, would you miss it, Bo? And he goes, oh, absolutely. Yeah. If he didn't call me or text me, I would know there's something major wrong, right? So it's kind of good. Like, he knows. Like, well, we've always called it truce, right? Yeah. So, I mean, I still, and it's funny today, now more this year, he always calls me before the game.
Oh, okay, cool.
Like, he'll play tonight, and he'll probably give me a call before he goes to the rink, or I'll just send him a quick text and say, good luck, keep your feet moving, or, you know, try to get more shots, something like that, right? That's just little subtle things. Yeah. Or he'll always answer me back. Always. Good. Or after the game, because it's so late, we don't really call much anymore after the game, because he's busy with whatever. And, you know, by the time we get home and I got to get to bed because I got to work the next day, but he'll always send me a text. I always send him, say, good game, Bo, or, you know, don't worry about it. Get it next time.
That's the one tough thing about him playing on the West Coast, right? Like, your games are, you know, pushing 12, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock sometimes when they're wrapping up, right? So it makes him tired.
And then, you know, if he has a good game, you're pumped, you can't sleep. If you have a bad game, you're pissed off, you can't sleep, right? I mean, it does, but I wouldn't have it any other way. You know what I mean? Awesome. And then, like, we run to Cal's game. Like, we always try to make Cal's games. Yeah. You know, there might be if you know, last week when Bo was in Buffalo at a 1 o'clock game, we just couldn't get back. We tried to. We did. Actually, I lied. We got back to the third period.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So we always try to get to both of them, right? Because they're, you know, you just want to.
No, it's awesome.
Yeah. No, it's
so you got a doubleheader last year.
Yeah, we did. We got to go. But we try to get the doubleheaders. Like tonight, Friday night, Bo plays in San Jose at 9. Cal plays at 7:30. So we'll miss half of Bo's game, but I'll have my phone on and my radio going, and then I'll run home and watch the rest of that game. Yeah. So it keeps us going, but I wouldn't have it any other way. Like, I love it.
Yeah. No, it's great. You're a hockey fix right now.
Yeah, it's cool. Yeah. You know, this is last year for Cal, right? Yeah. So, you know, get it when you can. That's what I told him, you know, just keep playing as long as you can, Cal, because once junior's over, it's over. Yeah. Well, you know what I mean?
And if he ends up being a police officer, you can play in the 911 league.
Oh, exactly.
Come in Tuesdays, love lunch here, watch him play.
Yeah. You know what? Like, and he's a great kid. Cal's a great kid too, eh? Like, I mean, he's just it's humbling. You know, I'm very lucky. Yeah. I'm very fortunate, right? So we're definitely blessed. Like,
well, it didn't happen by accident. A lot of it was because of Cindy.
Yeah, a lot of it. 95% of it. She keeps me under control. But no, it's cool. But I'm like a kid at heart too, right? Like, you're just so happy for the kids.
Well,
right?
man, you
so,
had some sick highlights his first couple of years, just on like when you're at games, him scoring goals and stuff like that. It was awesome. Like I loved it, man.
Yeah,
no,
so
just and, you know, not only you, like a lot of dads, just excited, proud. Like it's great. You know,
you always want to see.
It's awesome.
Always want to see, everybody that has his kids. They always want to see them succeed, no matter what they do.
Yeah.
Right. Like you just want them. You just want them to be the best that they can be, or you want them to, I guess, follow their heart, follow their dream.
Yeah.
Whatever, you know, the sacrifices. So, you know, Cindy and I could have went on a lot of trips in the wintertime with the money we spent.
Yeah.
Right. But you know what? This is what he loved to do. And you try to make it work. Right.
Yeah.
So, and my job helped me to do that, working at Ford plant, you know, and Navistar and stuff like that. That, you know, because you look back and you think, man, like, how did we do it? But you just do it because you got 2 kids playing. Like I totally respect the kids. They're the families that have 3 or 4 kids playing AAA.
Nuts.
It's got to be. It's hard. I couldn't imagine. You know. It was hard for us.
Yeah.
Just with Bo being in Toronto, even when he was down there.
You were going to games and
I was going to games
and
and traveling back and forth. I remember coming home and I'd work at the Ford plant, and after a snowstorm and I couldn't get home, like I was 2-3 in the morning, and I had to be at work by 5. I just went to work and slept at my workstation. Because that's what you had to do. You know what I mean? That's what you had to do. But it worked out. It's been pretty cool.
No, it's been amazing, man.
No, it's been an unbelievable journey. Would I ever trade it in? Nothing. I loved the journey. I learned a lot from it. But I think the biggest thing is, for parents, it's and you probably heard it lots of times. It's not a sprint. It's a marathon for kids, right? Like Bo. You know, people are gonna say, yeah, but he got fast tracked. Yeah, he did, but Bo had to work for it to get fast tracked. Right? Like, you know, he had to work for it. And that's what the funniest thing is. Dwayne, how many kids? Let me ask you, how many kids out there that have so much skill that could be so much better if they would just put a little more effort into their off-ice or work harder? How many times do you see that?
I mean, it's off the charts, right? You talk to any coach, anybody, there's a lot of them, right?
It's that little push, you know? And sometimes as parents, I think we can't always just sit back and I think as parents too, we have to push the kids a little bit. We have to. We have to say to them, sometimes a little bit of tough love hurts, right? So sometimes you gotta, like, I remember being pretty hard on Bo sometimes. You have to push them too, right? Like if it's something they love to do, you got to push. You just can't let it sit back and let it go.
No, you know what? I agree with that 100%. I think exposing them to stuff that they're going to like, or they, you know, that when they're young, right? Exposing them to different things is great. And then if they take to something, whatever that is, could be reading, piano, whatever that is, hockey. I think it's important for parents to, you know, not drag them, but push. And I think it's important also, if you have the means, it doesn't have to be expensive, but open doors. Make a shooting lane. I bought a basketball net for $50 on Kijiji for my kid. Like, you know, it doesn't have to be crazy enough to bust the bank, but you know, things that help them, open doors for them. And if they love it, you know, like let's say my little guys like Bo was, or I was, who just loved hockey. I'm going to open doors for him, and I'm going to push him a bit for sure.
You
know, and I'm going to keep him accountable and make sure that, you know, if he likes it, whether it's basketball or whatever, my daughter, same thing, whatever she likes, we'll kind of, you know, let's do this. But if you're going to put the time and the effort in, and we're going to put our time and our money into you doing this, it's got to be a 2-way street.
Oh, absolutely.
Right? I'm not going to drive you to the rink every day if you're out breaking sticks and acting like an idiot, you know, or if you're not working hard. There's no way. Like a couple of parents that talk to me about, I don't know if I should buy my 13-year-old a new stick. You know, they're expensive. So was he shooting pucks? Well, no. Is he stick handling in the backyard or like that? Well, no. Well, then just buy him a wood stick. Like, what does he need a stick for? He's not practicing anything.
No.
Right? Does he need a stick because all his buddies have a $300 stick? No. You know, and then you make that deal with your son or your daughter. You say, listen, if you want whatever it is, then you can buy it. You can help buy it, or, you know, put some work or some effort into it. Especially if the kid's tracking at AA or AAA and says he wants to be that player, she wants to be that player. That's fine. Then prove it. And if you're not going to prove it, then go on a trip.
Go on a trip.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, exactly. Like, I think kids, I think we all have to, it's how hard they want to push. And then how much you can help them out. But they all need a little push. They all do. Right. And it's not always going to be, you're going to agree with the coaches. But that's the Canadian way. Right. I mean, it is what it is. Right. But, you know, like if you work hard, and they're going to find you. Right. Like they're going to find you. And today, it doesn't matter where you play as much because they're going to find you.
Yeah.
They're out everywhere.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah. It's a different time.
It's a different time.
Yeah.
Whether they're watching you on video, they're watching you. I had one person, I'm not going to mention names, but I had this one GM owner of an OHL team.
Okay.
He was really high on this one player on our team. And he went to a game and he showed up an hour before a game. He showed up and he wanted to specifically see what this kid would do before a game, right? He went to the snack bar, bought a pop, got a piece of pizza, and a bag of chips. He left.
That was it, eh?
That was it.
Yeah.
So you never know.
Yeah.
You never know who's watching.
Yeah.
You never know when they're going to watch, right? Yeah.
It's so important.
And I actually, he come to me and 7 years ago and told me about it. And I thought,
yeah.
I guess I never even thought of that, right?
Yeah.
They watch. I had another note. When Bo was in Toronto, no one knows this, but I'm going to tell you.
Yeah.
Bo was in Toronto, and I'm an excited dad. I don't yell at the kids or anything, but I'll say, "Oh, great shot," or "Oh, move the puck," or "Get the pass over here."
Yeah.
I play the games for them, right? So, true story. I'm in the arena. I have this knock on my shoulder. Yeah, he said, "Hi, Clay LaBelle." I said, "Oh, hi, Clay. How you doing?" He said, "Good." Who was beside him? It was Bobby Orr. He worked for Bobby Orr. This was when Bo was in Pee Wee.
Okay.
And Bobby Orr was an agent, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And Clay worked for Bobby. Mm-hmm. He would go around and look at all the kids.
Yeah.
And he says to me, this was after the first period. He says to me, "Hey, Tim," he says, "can I make a suggestion to you?" And I said, sure. He says, "Well, don't take this the wrong way. But he says, from now on, what I want you to do when you come into the arena, be nice to everybody like you always are. Talk to everybody. But when the game's on, go down the other end of the rink and stand there all by yourself. And then play the game by yourself. Talk to the kids how you want to talk to them, but be by yourself. If you don't yell, you don't yell at them. You don't scream at them. You're just an excitable guy.
Yeah.
It'll help Bo in the long run." And it stuck with me.
You know what, man? That is unreal advice.
That come from Clay LaBelle and Bobby Orr, the agency. I'll never forget it.
And that stuck with you, obviously. And did it change how you watch games?
It changed how I watched the games. It changed me kind of as a person at a hockey game.
Yeah.
It's insane.
It's funny you say that. I had this young guy from Toronto 3-4 years ago his dad called me. They had money. They're like, "Hey, we want you to come take a look at our kid. He's potentially getting drafted in the OHL." I said, "Yeah, no problem." So I drove down. Didn't get paid for this. I just wanted to check this kid out. He had potential. It was for helping a buddy out. So I talked to the father. I'm like, "Yeah, no problem. Go there." I was in the arena for a couple minutes. I knew exactly who that kid's dad was by how he was yelling. Like, he had a couple guys with him, like dads, that dad group. And he was like, "Oh, come on." And I knew what number his kid was. So I was watching his kid play. Every time his kid made a play or his kid did something wrong, he'd be like, "Oh, come on, you're better than that." And like, I said the same thing to him. I pulled him aside after the game, I let it go.
Yeah.
After the game, we were talking and and I had some advice for the kid. And I told the father, I said, "Honestly, I knew who you were within a minute of being in the rink. And I said, if I was a scout or an agent or something like that watching you, 100% turned off."
Oh yeah.
Because
it's
I know,
amazing.
And I'm not saying you're a bad guy or not a bad guy, but the first thing I think is he's crazy and like he's not so dad. And I don't know what that really, and he was saying other things. Like he was like, nothing bad, but just whatever it was, "Oh, come on, better pass than that." And I'm like, I can just imagine what the car rides home are like. And I said that as for an agent or a scout or a GM, like, you're gonna hurt your, and that's unbelievable advice. And it's nice that I don't know how he ever took it, because we had a couple conversations after, and then the boy went on and had a, was played in the O and stuff, which is great. But it's nice to hear that sometimes that stuff resonates with parents, because sometimes it doesn't, right?
Oh yeah, no, I took it to heart. Like, he wasn't mean about it at all. He just, because I'm a excitable guy at games, I get into it.
Yeah.
And he just said, it'd be nice, just be the way you are around before a game. Go down and watch the game yourself, by yourself, all by yourself, sit by yourself. You enjoy the game, and then when you come back, just be the same guy you are when you leave the rink.
Yeah.
Talk to everybody, talk to all the parents, be nice to parents. And you know what? It really stuck with me. It really did. At times you always get heated, right?
Sure,
yeah, all parents do, right?
Yeah.
But you know what? And I was at a young age. I was Bo's and Pee Wee, and I never ever forgot that.
That's
never,
cool.
not once I forgot it.
Yeah.
And then, you know, like it's worked out. Bo, he's with Newport Sports Management now. Mark Guy, Donnie Meehan, and Pat Morris, and you know it's worked out.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been great.
Oh, that's awesome, man.
No, I just thought I'd share that.
No,
little
that's
bit
a
of
great.
story.
That's great. And listen, man, I don't want to take up more of your time, but I really appreciate it popping by today because some great stories. And I think if anything, it's stuff that hopefully some of the parents out there that whether they're a novice or they're an Adam or they're going to junior, that I think there's some really good nuggets there that they can hopefully listen to and. Okay, you know what? Maybe if I tweak this a little bit, or maybe if my son puts a little bit more work in, or I as a parent and maybe a little bit of a better parent sometimes, it can be helpful.
Yeah, you know what? Everybody has to sacrifice. That's the whole thing. Your kid has to sacrifice. You as parents have to sacrifice. Like one time, it was in smaller. It wasn't no AAA or nothing. They were just in minor hockey, and the kid really wanted to play. And I was working with the mom one time, and she says, it's just so expensive, and I got to go to the arena, and and I said, yeah, I get that, but I said, just look at all the positive your kid's learning. And she says, well, what do you mean? I said, well, let's do it right now. Let's weigh all your pros and cons from your kid wanting to go play hockey. She says, okay. So she gave me the cons: the money, the time, the travel, right? I said, okay, there's 3. Is there anything else you can come up with? No. She says, getting equipment. And I said, okay, let's go. What's the pros? What's so good about this? I said, meeting new families, new kids, right? New relationships. Listen to other people. In life, you're going to have a boss. You got a coach. Now you have to listen to, right? Have to be on time from the work when you were right when you go. So if your practice is at 5 o'clock, at 4 o'clock when you get home, you either have to have your homework done before you leave, or you have to have your equipment ready, grab something to eat so you can be at the rink by 4:30. So I said, that's all time management. That's going to be a great learning skill in life, right? Yeah. That you got to be on time. So you got to listen to your mentors, right? You got to learn. You're going to meet new friends, new families, right? Not only that, you're going to develop a skill that the kid loves to do, that you never know where it could lead with this kid. I said, hell, there's 5 or 6 pros right there that outweigh your cons by 2 to 1. Yeah. Right? Down the road, you never know. In life, whether it's hockey or whatever, he's going to learn. Yeah. He's going to learn. Or he's got to be disciplined on the ice. He can't go out there and whack and hack. He's going to get a penalty. I mean, that's all stuff that I think people kind of forget about, that it's a learning curve too. Sports is a learning curve. Yeah. It's part of a social event that helps us learn too, right? Oh yeah. For sure. It's part of it. Yeah. And that's something I kind of it's great. Never forget. Yeah, right? And it's nice to have those kind of conversations with parents too, especially since you've been through it a little bit. It is expensive. There's no doubt. There's no doubt. It's getting more expensive. Yeah, and it's a time suck. You want to go for a Friday dinner with your wife, not a chance. Yeah. If your kid plays hockey, not a chance. You got practice or games or something, right? But I think at the end of the day, you're right. I mean, if you want to help develop young, and I'm big on if that young boy wants to play house league hockey his whole life, awesome. Good for you. Exactly. Have fun, man. Enjoy it. Fill your boots. That's great. And he's still learning. He's still learning different life skills. Totally. And I think that's huge. So it's not all about playing the OHL or NHL. It's about enjoying the game and having fun doing it. And all those lessons are gonna take place whether you're playing basketball, you're playing house league hockey, or you're playing high level hockey. Exactly. Right? So exactly. You know what? Like I said, don't get me wrong. It's worked out for us. Yeah. It has. Yeah. There's a lot of people put a lot of money into it, and their kids all of a sudden get at a certain age and they just don't want to play anymore. Yeah. Or they never ever get there. Yeah. Or they get as far as they can. Or there's nothing wrong though if a good player wants to go to Europe to play, make some money. Yeah. Hey, that's great, right? But it's worked out for us. But I'm just saying, as younger, if you can keep them active and involved, keep them off the streets. Yeah. It'll benefit them in the long run. Yeah. Because how many times, Dwayne, you go out in the street and you see people that you used to play with years ago that are still like your best buddy? Oh yeah. The friendships your friendships lifetime. you can never break them. Yeah. And that's something that's pretty special. Yeah. Like when I go somewhere, Hell, I was on a cruise ship 6 years ago and I met somebody I used to play hockey with.
Yeah.
It's like, whoa,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
what are you doing?
Yeah.
You know, it's pretty good. It was good to see him.
Yeah.
And I thought that was pretty cool. And this stuff you just never forget, you
Yeah.
know? And like, I got to get back to you on the Vancouver Canucks this year made the way social media is. This is the way social media is.
Yeah.
The Vancouver Canucks made a thing this year where they're not taking Fortnite on the road.
Yeah.
Right?
That,
they banned that.
Yeah.
Boy, did Bo get ripped for that, right? He was a spokesman for that. Like he had to come out and tell everybody this is what we're doing. But the funniest thing is, Bo had nothing. He didn't even make that decision.
Yeah.
That wasn't even his decision at all that was being made.
Yeah.
Right? That wasn't.
Yeah.
He heard it from a couple of the guys, 3 or 4 guys, and they asked Bo what he thought. I said, sure, if that's what we want to do.
Yeah.
Well, it comes up, Bo has to be the spokesperson for it, right?
Yeah.
So Bo tells the media, no, we're not going to have Fortnite on the road. Right?
Yeah.
Boy, did that ever go. That just took off like, it's just unbelievable.
Yeah.
That's what social media does.
Oh, yeah.
Like they don't even know the true facts about it.
Yeah.
And that's the part I think that, like I said, getting back to you, that hurts sometimes because, you know, they rip your kid apart, but really he's just the spokesperson because he's got an A on this year.
Yeah.
And the media asked him about it. So
Yeah.
he just told them, right?
Yeah.
But it
Yeah.
wasn't his decision at all.
Yeah.
Right?
He probably doesn't even play Fortnite.
No,
Right?
like he doesn't even play it. Honest to God, he doesn't. Like
No,
Bo's never been a video gamer guy.
Yeah.
He just hasn't.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's just him, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes him and
think-
Cal play NHL or something, but they,
sure, yeah.
You know, Bo's he's just not that type of person.
What they're saying too, though, a lot with that decision, because I think a lot of teams were starting to like contemplate doing the same thing. Some of them probably have, just maybe a little quieter.
Yeah.
But I think one of the things that was nice about them doing that, and I know one of the reasons why some of the teams were thinking about doing it was because getting that social piece back, where you go back to the hotel and not everyone just go to the rooms and get on headphones and playing video games, going for dinner, and then hanging out a bit after dinner. You know, kind of getting that social piece back to it. You know, even I know whenever Bo was part of like some of the Hockey Canada events, especially when he's younger, no cell phones.
Oh no!
And
nothing.
I was involved this summer. There's no cell phones, but on the bus ride to the rink and back, guys were actually talking.
Yeah,
guys were actually asking where they're from, where they play. Like where normally you get on a bus with a bunch of guys, what are they doing? Everyone's on their phone, texting, whatever. You know, so it's getting that, trying to get that social piece back to, you know, talk and having conversations. And you know, you lose that a little bit, right?
You sure do. Like we do, we lose it in our household, Dwayne.
Yeah.
Like last night, we're sitting around watching TV and watching a little bit of the Edmonton game. I'm on my phone, Cindy's on her phone, and Cal's on the phone. We're all on the same couch.
Yeah.
Like seriously.
I know.
You know what I mean?
Every once in a while you look at it, like, what are we doing?
What are we doing?
Yeah.
Right?
Oh,
like
yeah.
I kind of got laughing about it, but it's so true though, Dwayne.
Oh yeah, it's
you
easy.
know, and like people don't realize Hockey Canada is very strict on that.
Yeah.
Like the World Championships and all that, they don't get that stuff, man. It's about a team. It's about learning to be a team and communicating with each other. And they don't get their phones.
No.
It's a great point.
Yeah, it's good.
It's a great point. But I just think that's the way social media is, and that's why that you know when you become a professional athlete and stuff, that's as a parent, that's a tougher part, right?
Yeah.
Because
for sure.
they don't know the true story of it wasn't even Bo's decision at all, but he's the one that was a spokesman for it to come out. Well, it's all Bo's fault. Well, it's not. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There was a collective agreement between a group of guys. It's just that Bo was a spokesman for it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But Bo would never come out and say that.
Yeah.
But I'm the dad and it pisses me off. So I'm going to tell people that it wasn't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, he's not going to say anything, right? And I'm not saying that in my eyes, it was a good decision. That's what they want to do. You respect the decision, whether it's right or wrong, who cares? That's the team's decision. Right.
Yeah. And I think, for parents too, like I know growing up too, I'm sure, it was a little bit maybe earlier on when Bo was growing up, it wasn't as social media type as it is now, but
it's huge today.
But even some of these parents go on forums, minor hockey forums, and go on different social media platforms to look at, parents carving 12-year-old kids. That's the thing. And even social media stuff, sometimes it's like, I'm sure sometimes you're like, I can't listen to this anymore. I'm turning it off. And sometimes it's better for parents just to, I say put the horse blinders on, focus on your child, make sure your kid's a good kid. Don't worry about all that outside noise. And really, where does most of it stem from? Either terrible at that NHL level, maybe some bad reporting. They read a headline and they go run with it. Yeah. Or it's basically, you got parents that should be probably spending more time with their kids that are on their computer writing trash about some other kid or some other parent. And a lot of it stems from jealousy. Exactly. Right. And it's one of those things where I think as parents, you just gotta focus on what you're doing, make sure you're doing the right things, and stay away from that stuff because it's poison.
Yeah, I know it's tough. It really is tough. Like
you're at another, like the NHL, you can't get away from it.
It's
right?
hard.
You're looking at Instagram, looking at anything. It's
like
it's
I'm not on Facebook. I'm not on Instagram or whatever. I do like Twitter. Yeah. I'm a Twitter guy. Yeah. I just, because I get reports right away.
Yeah. And you get quick news.
I get quick news right away. I love Twitter. It's just me. Yeah. That's the only thing I ever go on. I don't reply to Twitter. I don't reply back. There's a lot of times I would love to. Oh boy, there's a lot of times I'd love to.
Just grab the phone, throw it away.
No, Cal will look at me and say, Dad, don't you dare.
Yeah, relax.
I just kind of laugh. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. But you know what? That's just me. I love the Twitter. That's my thing. Twitter's my thing. Yeah. Right. But for Facebook and anything or going on writing stuff, you got to stay away from it. You got to stay away from it. Yeah. Like, I mean, isn't that the trouble? Isn't that the way of the world today though? Isn't that why everybody gets angry and upset and pissed off? And like, I mean, come on, like you're talking about 12, 13-year-old kids that, be proud, crazy. Be happy for them. Yeah. Right. But that's, again, you always want your kid to be number one. You always want your kid to be up here. Right. Yeah. So if he's not, he knows it. He's going to work hard. He's going to get to where he has to go. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Whether it's, for an example, you got Crosby and Malcolm, right? Malcolm's a hell of a player. Yeah. Right. Crosby's up here. Malcolm's always been here. Yeah. Right. But I'll tell you, you need both of them to win.
Oh, huge for sure. Yeah,
right?
Yeah. Oh,
you need it's a team concept, and that's not
and they've won, so they obviously figured it out.
And they've won a few times.
Yeah.
So
and some games Malcolm's better, some games Crosby's better, and it's okay.
It's okay. Yeah. Because they need them both. Yeah. Right. Yeah. And that's what Bo, I think, as he's gone on, he's learned that that's a big thing. Yeah. Right. That it takes everybody to win. Right. Yeah. It takes everybody to win. And especially it takes, like I'm using the NHL as an example. These guys that put up 60, 80, 100 points in the league, they don't have a very success rate in the playoffs because they're being watched or the penalties are a little different. They're not getting, it takes guys, the second, third, fourth line guys to step their game up. And that's why you see there's a lot of unsung heroes in the playoffs with third, fourth line guys or second, third, fourth line guys because they've shut down the top guys. Yeah. You know what I mean? So in the end, it becomes a team concept, a team effort. I think, it takes everybody to win. Oh yeah. It just doesn't take one player or one line.
No, it's true.
And I think that is the biggest thing in minor hockey too. It takes a collective. Like I went this weekend, my wife and I went and watched the Black and Gold tournament in West Lorne. They're little novices. Yeah. We went and watched 3 games, right? We still go watch them kids, right? And back when Bo used to play, there was always that one, like Bo would take the puck and go and shoot and score. Anytime he wanted, if he wanted to, he could do it. Yeah. So as a coach, you always wanted to say, yeah, you know what, Bo, you got to play, pass the puck, move the puck. But today, they're all so close.
The skill set's
unbelievable and blown away. And this is just in West Lorne minor hockey. I was blown away by it, thinking, man, there's not one guy that can just go and zip around and they're all pretty good. Yeah. And that's another point that I said to Bo in his minor midget year, when it was draft year, because it was a big year. There's a lot of pressure. I said, Bo, take a beer bottle for an example. Just take a beer bottle. You said it there. The base of that beer bottle is pretty thick. It's pretty wide. And you're all the same in there. It's all the same. Yeah. You guys are all the same because there's a lot of good players out there. But the only guys that make it is you got to figure out how to get through that skinny part of the neck to get out of the bottle. Yeah. So whatever it's going to take, whether it's a block shot, whether it's a face-off win, whether it's a good stick, whether it's a beautiful goal, whether it's a back check, a hit, it don't matter. You have to try to separate yourself getting out of that bottle, the bottom part of that bottle. You got to find your way to squeeze through that neck to show people what you can do. Right? Oh yeah. And that's what I use that concept with Bo and Cal all through their careers. I said, just think of it as a beer bottle. You have to get through the thin part of the neck if you want to make it. Yeah. And you have to figure that out. I can't for you. Yeah. We can't. And that's where kids need to know that it's extra ice time. It's extra ice time. Whether it's skating with you, learning the skill set.
Mom and dad and having fun.
Exactly.
Public skating. Like I think
it doesn't matter. Like you know how much extra time and money I spent on ice time just taking Bo and Cal out on my own. Yeah. Right? So you know what? I'm going to go rent some ice. So it cost me $100. right? $100 a month or $100 extra a month. I did it because I wanted that one-on-one with them, just to work with them myself. Say, you know what? Maybe I'm not always right, but I could still get you on the ice.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And it's fun.
And
right?
it's
a fun hour.
Where can you not get quality time with your kids, something they both love to do?
Yeah.
On the ice.
Yeah.
So we did. I'd get a goaltender and we'd work on stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's all that little extra stuff. Or even, like you said, go public skating with your family. Go out and stick handle, or go shoot on your brother. Or do, it's always something that you got to try to make yourself get through that neck.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You'll figure it out, because we can help, but we can't figure it out. You have to put the effort and figure it out yourself. I think that's a big thing, right?
Yeah. And I mean, a lot of times the players that do figure it out and work on those little things, blocking shots, whatever those little skills are, they're going to end up that cream's going to rise to the top, right? Where those better players are going to find that way through.
Exactly. And that's where, as you get older, the scouts ain't dumb. They see that, that you put the time and effort in to get through that skinny part of the beer bottle, right? You're going to raise your game. Yeah. You've raised your game. You've done some things here that, wow, they're all the same here, but he just did something a little different. Yeah. And that's the part that I think that really has to in store with kids today, I think. I think that's what I mean. We as parents have to push a little bit too. We can't just say, we can't always stick up for them. How's that?
That's huge. Yeah.
We can't always baby them and stick up for them. We have to be hard on them. Tough love sometimes, right?
And I think sometimes let them get out of when they do mess up, which is part of life, let them figure out how to get out of it. A lot of times we're quick to jump and protect and find the right way out, and whatever it is. Right? Like my daughter left her, she's 4. She's out of school, left her mitts on the bus. So came home with no mitts yesterday. I'm like, okay, well, you got no mitts. So, well, then tomorrow you got to make sure you get those mitts back. And she probably won't, because she's 4, she'll forget, right? But every day it's going to be, you got to get the mitts back. I'm not going to the bus driver, you got to get the mitts back.
Exactly. You have to put a little bit on themselves. Exactly. Yeah. That's the whole thing. I think we can't always baby them. Yeah. You can't. Yeah, they have to learn. They have to learn on their own sometimes. And it doesn't matter with their age group. You're like, it's 4-year-old. Yeah. That's the way it is. Yeah. That's how they learn. Later on in skill, they'll remember that.
Well, hopefully don't forget your mitts anymore, right?
Exactly.
Or whatever it is, right?
Or exactly. If their kids, they're going to do the same thing you did to them, is tell them to go get, make sure you get your gloves. Yeah. Make sure you get your gloves, Yeah, exactly. So it's always a learning curve, right? It's always a pushing. They're always your kids. They'll always be your kids. Yeah. One thing you can never take away is your kids, because you're your kids, right? Yeah. And you just thank God that you got them and they're healthy and they're doing well, and you just hope for all.
Just don't screw them up too bad.
Exactly. Don't mess them up too bad.
Like, because I'm just starting. Sometimes I'm like, how am I going to get them from 4 to like 20? Like, how that's such a journey. Sometimes you look at it, right?
But it goes so fast. Baby stuff.
Yeah.
It goes so fast,
it's been great.
You just do it, right? Because you love it. They love to do it. And honestly, like Dwayne, I'm not a big motocross guy, snowmobile guy, but Cal was into it. That's what he loved to do. And we made it work for him. So you know what? I had to work some extra hours to get him a dirt bike. Yeah.
Probably built a little track in the farm.
Oh yeah, built a little track. He was all over the place, And if it broke down, Cal was one that needed it fixed. He wanted it fixed. So, you went out of your way to get it fixed. Yeah. Right? Yeah, no, for sure. But that's just the way it is. But I just want to say to you, like, thanks a lot for what you've done for Bo too, and Cal. Cal, and I really appreciate it.
No, it's been awesome, man.
Awesome, yeah.
And I appreciate you stopping by. It's been great, and some real good information for parents. And it's always great to chat with a true hockey dad. It's good.
Well, no, it's awesome. Good. I loved it. No, it's really fun, and great. And Trotz is in Washington, right? And that's the island
now.
Island, yeah. But didn't you work with him? Or
So I had him a little bit or worked with him in Nashville, just development camps and stuff. And then last 3 years in Washington with him. And I stayed on with Washington, so I'm helping out with.
Oh, that's good. Well, that's what I was talking with Mark Hunter there, like I said, on Thursday, and you don't get to do that if coaches don't like you. So you must know what you're doing, and you work hard at it, and that's awesome.
Yeah, thanks, buddy.
Because some of these coaches are pretty finicky, right?
Oh yeah.
So that's awesome. I'm proud of you. No, it's good.
Well, thanks, buddy.
Yep. Thanks, you.
Man. Awesome.
Yeah, it's awesome.
All right.